acting chairman of the Rajamandriram branch, and today's resource person Kumar garu, members, mute lo పెట్టండి.
చైర్మన్ గారు కూడా మ్యూట్ అయిపోయారు.
సార్ దేవి సార్ అన్మ్యూట్ చేయండి సార్.
Okay, is it okay?
Yes sir, yes sir.
And dear colleagues, good evening all of you. I welcome you all on this virtual CB meeting on MSME. MSME is the most important area for all practicing chartered accountants because the government is giving more weightage for the MSME as far as the bank loans are concerned and other aspects, corporate audits and are concerned. So it is better to know something about the MSME, particularly keeping in view of the COVID situation. The government has given more weightage for the MSME. Fortunately, we have very good personality to address gathering on this MSME. Kumar garu has ready accepted to be a resource person of this evening. I welcome you all on this occasion of a virtual CB meeting. I request acting chairman of the Rajamahendrapuram branch to say a few words on this. ఆనంద్ గారు.
సార్ మోహన్ గారు ఇంకా జాయిన్ అవ్వలేదు అనుకుంటా.
నన్ను మోహన్
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్.
ఆనంద్ యాక్టింగ్ అన్నారు.
No, కాదు సార్. I am sorry sir. Mohan garu right now he has got some emergency and our acting chairman. That's why he is not able to attend our virtual CB seminar today. And good evening one and all.
Anand, you can address Anand.
Sir, am I loud and clear sir?
Yeah, Anand, please continue.
Anand, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you very much sir. Very good evening everyone. We are very happy to be part of this seminar. Right now itself we have got 70 participants from across 3 branches. Thank you Devi Kumar garu for initiating this. Chala sir Prasanna Kumar garu chepparu, as he desired, all 3 branches come on the one platform for this virtual seminar. Hope once it got settled we will go for this physical seminar also. His interaction
definitely with a lot of things. With a lot of things.
We will remember once again the seminar which we conducted here in Rajahmundry near Papikondlu. Like that we can do. Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Sir. And hope we will all going to have a wonderful session now. Thank you Thiruveyi Kumar garu for accepting our invitation, sir.
Thank you Anand garu. Thank you. Now I request Srikanth garu to address a few words on this occasion.
Good evening members. I welcome our co-chairman Nagam Devi Kumar garu, Rajamahendrapuram Vice Chairman Mohan garu, our Central Council member Prasanna Kumar garu, Regional Council members Narendra Chandra Gelli garu, Chengal Reddy garu, and today's speaker CAC Kumar garu from Ongol. This is our 3rd joint meeting, first 2 held with all branches of AP hosted by Vijayawada branch. We are glad that now there is a wider platform and many members are able to view these excellent meetings safely without moving from their houses. Today, topic MSME is indeed a very important one, as practitioners have got a lot of doubts on what are covered under MSME and whether trade service are also covered. Today topic will definitely enrich our members, as today in India, new trump card for success seems to be MSME. I thank you, all of you, for giving me this opportunity, and we feel that in future also we will be joining with all these branches for more such type of meetings. Thank you, sir.
Sure, sir, with pleasure and this thing, cooperation. Thank you, Srikanth garu. Now I request Chengal Reddy garu, ex-officio of the Rajamahendrapuram branch and regional council member, to address the gathering.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please.
Today's chief guest and Central Council member CA Prasanna Kumar sir, my colleague CA Naresh Chandra Gelli garu, and the chairman of Kakinada branch Nagam Devi Kumar garu, acting chairman Rajamandri Mohan Garu, the chairman of West Godavari, Srikant Garu, the other secretaries of three branches, Brahmananda Rao, Ravikiran, Gangaram, and today's speaker, CA Thiruvai Kumar Garu, who was the secretary of Ongole branch when I was secretary of Hyderabad branch. He was the secretary of Ongole branch when I was secretary at Hyderabad. So we used to interact at the various platforms, and managing committee members of all the three branches, galaxy of past chairmen of three branches, viewers of the today virtual webinar, a warm, pleasant good morning, good evening, each one of you. I am delighted to join through this virtual CPE webinar, jointly organized by all the three branches of Godavari districts. The topic is on micro, small and medium enterprises, which is more relevant topic for today's. I think every one of us who is attending today's webinar will be very aware of the stimulus package announced by our finance minister. That is a special economic package on 12th May 2020, which has an important role in the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. I think the economic package was mainly to help the small scale industries, MSMEs, which are the means of livelihood of crores of people. This package is also for farmers and middle class families who pay their taxes on time in the form of various financial help. I think the micro, small and medium enterprises are mostly considered as the engine of economic growth, promoting equitable development, and also it has emerged as a highly vibrant and dynamic sector of the Indian economy over the last 5 decades. The MSMEs are the complementary to large industries, I can say. Why? Because these are the ancillary units, and the sector contribute enormously to this socio-economic development of the country. So the MSME sector plays a vital role in the economy of the India. I think with this, I want to tell a famous quote of Andy Rooney. Everyone wants to live on the top of the mountain, but all the happiness and growth occurs while you are climbing it. So try to update knowledge and do some specialization and tap the new opportunities. With this, I convey my sincere thanks to the Central Council member, CA Prasanna sir, who joined for this webinar, and also the research person, Thiruvai Kumar Garu, who accepted for delivering on this MSME topic. And my sincere thanks to all the three branch chairmen for inviting me this wonderful program. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Changal Reddy Garu. Now it is turn my branch ex officio, regional council member and ex officio of the East and West Godavari branches. East to West, coincidentally, very nice. I request Naresh Gill Garu to address the gathering.
Yeah, Chairman of Kakinada branch, Devi Kumar Garu, our respected Central Council member, Prasanna Kumar Garu, Chairman of other two branches, Acting Chairman Mohan Garu and Srikant Garu. Lot of past chairmen in the meeting, members, good evening to each one of you. And also the speaker, Thiruvai Kumar Garu from Ongole. Friends, we're all practicing for quite some time, and most of us are tuned or structured only for the areas of taxation, corporate laws and few things like that. Now, with the economic package, Government of India has given so much of money in terms of packages for the economic growth. And as Changal Reddy rightly mentioned, the MSME are the engines for the economic growth. So what will happen is all the clients who we interact would be needing some ideas, would be needing a guiding, or should they need somebody like a mentor to guide them about the policies and the schemes that are available under Government of India. And they would look upon somebody who can guide them. And the best person is a chartered accountant. Instead of allowing them to go to some professional who is not a finance professional, and then we don't need to be playing a second level role. We should be the mentors to these people. We should guide them, and we know their financial positions and activities also. Probably knowing more deeper about various programs and schemes Government of India is giving. We are the best set of people whom should look into this activity, and I think each of us should understand what are the important projects or products that are available in our districts, and ensure that we update our skill on that, and we mentor our clients and guide them accordingly. I'm sure Thiruvai Kumar Garu will throw light on all those very important schemes that are available, and probably this is the beginning. Probably a couple of branches where we also invited Thiruvai Kumar Garu. They said we want to have a webinar on each specific scheme altogether. So probably if you can see first, listen to him for this 1.5, 2 hours or whatever it is. And if required, we can also have a specific topic-wise webinar again later on. This is broadly, I would suggest, and I would request all the members to actively understand, interact. And there is also a lot of advantages for us. As our firm also, we can register for a service industry for our SME category. So I'm sure Thiruvai Kumar Garu will give all details in that respect. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you all the 3 chairmen for giving the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Naresh Gidli Garu. Today's chief guest and our beloved Central Council member, Prasanna Kumar Garu. Sir, welcome, sir. Please address. I request you to address the gathering.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm audible, Dev Kumar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Respected CA Nagam Devi Kumar, the chairman of Kakinada branch of SASFICA, CA CVN Gangaram Garu, the secretary of Kakinada branch, CA M Mohan, the vice chairman of Rajamahendram branch in absentia, CA Brahmananda Rao, the secretary of Rajamahendram branch, CA G Srikant, chairman of West Godavari branch, West district branch, CA V Ravikaran, secretary of West Godavari district branch, CA Naresh Chandra Gelli, past vice chairman of SARC and the present regional council member. Like Nagam Devi Kumar was telling that if for East Godavari and West Godavari, East or West, Naresh is the best always. CA Changal Reddy, regional council member, CA Thiruvai Kumar, today's topic, and my dearest dear viewers, colleagues and ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. It is my proud privilege once again to participate in the inaugural session of the Godavari branches of SARC-ICA conference, the joint organ of all the 3 branches. Friends, as you know, I addressed all of you very recently, around less than 15 days ago. So where I shared a lot of the developments which are happening in the institute, which are of relevance to the members. So now I don't have much developments later on, though there are certain things are in the pipeline now. Friends, there are one question which has been asked continuously. In fact, we had a discussion yesterday in the ICA, in the executive committee also. That is regarding students matter. So what should happen to students' attendance the COVID pandemic up to the first lockdown, up to 3rd May, or post-lockdown on unlock situation, where they are in a containment zone, they are in a red zone, so forth. Many doubts are there with respect to attendance, leave, stipend, so on and so forth. With their examination, eligibility, all those things. So to set up, put up this particular matter which has been speculated for quite some time. Now the advice has been developed by the institute, which is before the president of ICA. Circular will be issued, whereby to be crystal clear so what to do with the students matter by the members. So till then, because though I am aware what are there, because there's going to be announced in a couple of days by the Honorable President. So let us wait for a couple of days to know about it. So then there will demand from the members that the hearing date should be extended, keeping in view the delay in getting company audits done. So as you are aware, the general circular has Ministry of Corporate Affairs, general circular.
Jairam, audio.
The central government.
Jairam, audio, please.
Prasanna sir.
Yeah.
Not audible, sir. I think a lot of disturbance is there. Can I request the host to mute all the mics?
Jairam.
Please mute.
Jairam, mute le పెట్టండి మీది.
Yes, sir.
పెట్టండి అక్కడ వాయిస్ అంతా వచ్చేస్తుంది మరి ఇబ్బందిగా ఉంది. Sorry, Prasanna sir.
No problem. So I'll just continue with the students matter. Members, there are many doubts we had in our minds regarding students matters. particularly due to the lockdown situation, which was announced by MHA up to 3rd May. And post-lockdown situation, there were red zones were there, containment zone was there, and public transport is not available. Some students have taken examination leave; they are not reporting now. So suppose they marked option due to options. Now, what will happen to the eligibility for the examination? Like that, there is stipend payment. So many doubts are there. So there have been some speculation, permutation, combinations were there, making rounds among the members also regarding this matter. Now, to put it as the entire thing, yesterday also had a discussion in the executive committee of ICI, so whereby the advisory has been developed, so which will be announced in a couple of days by the Honorable President. So now that it is before the President, I'm not making an announcement, though I'm aware, but let us wait for that one. We'll get a certainly guidance from the ICI regarding this matter. Then coming to you, companies audits, as you're aware, companies audit, they have to call the AGM before 30th September, thereby by 3rd or 4th of, September the audit should be completed. There are some, requests made that UDIN date should be extended. As you know, extending the date of a UDIN is not that easy. Here also in a similar situation came in the month of September. Your date for the 15 days due date for generated UDIN was extended up to almost December 30th. Keeping in view certain requests made by the members. But that time also some criticism was there from the many quarters. Why should extend this particular date when UDIN platform is working? Keeping that it may not be possible. However, as you know, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has released General Circular number 28/20 a day for yesterday. So whereby, you are aware, central government doesn't have powers to extend these dates as per the Act. So only the ROC on application made by the company under 96, so due date extended. Now that there's a general circular and advisory issued by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, if you make an application before 29th of September, if the company makes an application, so the extension of due date for AGM will be liberally viewed. That is what the word liberally is used in the circular also. So that will be very helpful to all of us, so that there's no need for think of UDIN also. The friends, coming to the topic proper regarding MSMEs, as you know, already we CA Changal Reddy and CA Naresh Chandra have spoken a lot about the nonsense of MSMEs. So it's a backbone of our country. They contribute a lot. They contribute a lot for the economy of this country. The highest growth engine as far as the employment generation is concerned is their MSMEs only nowadays. The investment vis-a-vis the number of employees employed by them, the highest is only in the MSME sector. So now you are aware. Earlier, the definition of MSME was based on the investment in plant and machinery. Now that has been changed. We will see Thiruval Kumar will take you through the entire thing, where it's also coupled with the turnover of the entity also. So this is a very remarkable change, which has been in the central government's view to be implemented, but it took a lot of time. When the COVID situation came, and also where they had to roll out a lot of concessions to the because of COVID pandemic to the MSMEs, that has also been implemented already. It's in vogue now. As you know, as Naresh Chandra said, we are also MSMEs. Instead, small and medium practitioners, all of us also come under the same category. So we are also affected by that one. Though there may not be any specific thing for a service industry like us, but we are also part of that. Keeping in view the importance of the MSMEs in our economy, ICAI, under the dynamic leadership of Honorable President C. Atul Kumar Gupta ji, we introduced a mentoring program for MSMEs, which was launched by the Honorable President on 1st of July during the CA Day celebration also. That we have to adopt them, some of the MSMEs, irrespective of who is the auditor for that one, and to encourage them to go for substitute for the imports, and also to make exports also from this country. So that the beautiful background material is also prepared. Is being prepared by ICA. It will be shared with all of you. Already we have got one brochure type of thing. Now a detailed thing is prepared. So whereby we will be able to mentor all these MSMEs to go to the next pedestal in their business. So friends, I am sure all of you are aware, Reserve Bank of India for the banking industry. So NPA norms have been changed, keeping this pandemic, where MSMEs have largely benefited due to no pressure from the bank for repayment or interest or repayment of the principal, and the additional CC amount was also given. You are aware. Like that, many stops have been given. I'm sure today Thiruval Kumar will deal with all those things. C.A. Thiruval Kumar is a renowned speaker on this particular topic. He is a very nice person. You will hear more about him when he will be introduced after my presentation is over. So he is a renowned chartered accountant there, and he is one of the in a patriotic charter. నేను కరెక్ట్ చెప్పాలంటే ఇప్పుడు మన చైర్మన్ గారు ఉన్నారు దేవి కుమార్, I consider him as a very patriotic person. Not that we are not patriotic, they are like all of us. So he's also the same category. So very interesting party. I'm sure he will get out of his deliberate. So the less than 1 month time, I had an occasion where I could speak to Kakinada members in a program branch. Then I got another occasion that where the Kakinada and Rajamahendra branch joined all this program. Very recently, I addressed both the members. Today, I got an opportunity which is joint out of Kakinada, Rajamahendra, West Godavari, all the 3 branches. So I'm very happy to address them in less than 1 month. I'm sure, as it was my team project, now the like Brahmanda Anand.
Hello. Ziram.
I think sir disconnect అయినట్టున్నారు.
Ziram.
Yeah, I'm audible now.
Sir, now it is audible, sir. Okay, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
Prasanna, sir. Sir, please continue, sir. Prasanna, sir.
Yeah, where did you stop? Where did you stop hearing me? Kakinada branch.
Kakinada branch. Your dreams are coming to reality.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, now that my dreams are slowly getting realized, I'm sure in the days to come, under the dynamic leadership of all the 3 branch chairmen, we are going to have the annual conference. Be it virtual or physical, whatever it is, that will launch now, so that every year, all of us will happily, we will keep waiting for the day to come where the Godavari branches conference will be held. So every year we should feature. So we should keep meeting either virtually or physically only. No virtual. Virtual is only temporary phenomenon. Let's hope for the best. So wish you all the best. Have a great learning. Thank you very much for inviting me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your wishes and blessings and support, sir. I am very much thankful to you for gracing this occasion as a chief guest. Thank you, sir. Now I request Ravi Kiran, Secretary of West Godavari branch, to introduce today's resource person, Kumar Garu. Ravi Kiran, sir, please come. Please come on the screen. రవికిరణ్ గారు, శ్రీకాంత్ గారు, రవికిరణ్ గారు ఉన్నారా?
రవికిరణ్ గారు వచ్చారండి, ఒక్క సెకండ్ అండి, జస్ట్
సార్ ప్లీజ్ చెక్ ఇట్.
Meantime,
I request all the members to keep your జంగారెడ్డి గురించి రావడం చాలా కష్టం సార్, అది చాలా టిపికల్. అంటే
జంగారెడ్డిగూడలో వర్షం వస్తుందంటండి.
వర్షం వస్తుందా? రమణ గారు మీరు చెప్పండి.
నేను ఫోన్ చేస్తున్నాను.
I request all the members to keep it mute.
5:49 కాదు, లైన్ లోకి నువ్వు 5:49 ఏంటి, నువ్వు రాకపోతే ఎలాగా లైన్ లో?
వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్.
ఓకే
కాదండి
సార్, మీ వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుంది సార్. దేవి కుమార్ గారు
చూడు సిస్టమ్ నువ్వే ఇంట్రడక్షన్ చేయాలి.
సార్ ఇక్కడ సిగ్నల్ ప్రాబ్లం సార్ నాకు.
ఓకే, టైం పడుతుందంటే రమణ గారికో కృష్ణప్రసాద్ గారికో వస్తే చదివేస్తారు.
అంటే లేదు సార్, ఈస్ కమింగ్ సార్. బట్ అంటే మా దగ్గర మెటీరియల్ లేదు కదా సార్.
మెటీరియల్ ఓకే అంతా అంటే స్క్రీన్ మీద ఉన్నారండి, ఎక్కడన్నా
వస్తున్నారు, స్క్రీన్ మీద ఉన్నారండి, ఆన్ చేస్తున్నారండి. ఆయన అది కట్ అయిందండి, లైన్ కట్ అయింది. యాక్చువల్ తిరువై కుమార్ గారి గురించి అయితే ఎస్కేపీడీలో నా ఫ్రెండ్.
ఓకే సార్, ప్రసన్న గారు మీన్ టైమ్ లెటర్స్ అంటే ప్రసన్న గారు సార్, ఇప్పుడు అంటే యూడిన్ ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ చేయాలా లేదనేది, యూడిన్ అనేది మన ఓపెన్ సీక్రెట్. ఎవ్రీబడి రిక్వైర్స్ టైమ్ ఫర్ సబ్మిషన్ ఆఫ్ ది యాన్యువల్ returns. So instead of requesting the MCA to extend the date, unnecessarily why we have to deceive ourselves by using UDIN.
అంటే దేవికో మీరు చెప్పేది అంటే యూడిన్ కెన్ బి ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ అంటున్నారా, నాట్ టు బి ఎక్స్టెండెడ్?
Sir.
Sir, if we extend that UDIN, I think we are allowing backdating of the signing the balance sheets. That is the one criteria. So that's why our UDIN institute is reluctant to extend, sir.
No, actually, Changareddy, I'll just tell you, last time, for the extension of UDIN, I was squarely the reason for the entire thing. Adukondi tells my friend Narayan Reddy garu, he forced me to do that one. Hyderabad. There, that triggered, I took up the matter in Central, got it extended for a day, whatever the reason it is, being the first year. So the moment that was done, from our own sister institute, they went to the ministry and said, the Chadakona, they wanted UDIN date extension. When they stabilize, why do they need? They want to backdate and do all those things. Is it disabled thing like that? They are questioning. So putting wasn't in a different situation, that should not happen. So, we are in a receiving end as far as that is concerned. UDIN is appreciated by everyone, not only in our country, but also across the world, particularly SAARC countries who are giving the technology out to them. Under these circumstances, if we go for extension of UDIN, that will not be taken a good taste by the ministry and the regulators also. So,
sir, right now the situations are altogether different, sir. If you compare with the last year situations due to COVID and the right now the companies are not yet started their operations and the accounting team are not yet started coming to the offices. These are all the main hurdles for the chart accountant, sir, this year compared to last year.
3 months is extended, no? They have extended by 3 months. What is the problem for us?
That has to be filed with the ROC, sir. Otherwise, they will not extend.
They are filing some 10 to 15 returns a year. GNL1 is not a very small return. And COVID pandemic is the reason for that one. And moreover, the ministry has advised them to be liberal. You make an application, it will be granted, automatic granting, because thousands of letters will come now. So they will automatically grant, because they don't have powers to give a general amnesty, general extension. So they are going through the ROC route only. So that problem is solved now, by and large. So maybe we will not need that one. But, we are getting a beating from all quarters once we extend this UDIN. Our own members are criticizing us. But we know the ground reality.
Yes, sir, but they can delegate the powers to the ROC to give the extension by and large for all the companies instead of filing.
No, that they don't have the powers. You have to make an application.
You have to make an application, then only they will be able to
then only they can give. They will be liberal.
Extend.
I think they change the MCA 21 also. Automatic approval will be given. That's what we think. So there will not be any problem. 3 months is quite good enough time to come over the situation. Somewhere
anyway, we have to file the tax audit by 31st October.
See, Changareddy, the problem is the small and, particularly all private companies, they come to chart account because due date is for tax audit, not for the AGM. AGM, they are aware something happens, somehow the date will be managed. But they come only with due date. So now that November is the due date for that one, I think we have got up to 30th, we have got up to March time is there, for AGM. I think we can manage easily. Blessing and disgrace. I was confident this will come. That's why I was telling some request came. I said the UDIN extension may not be required. Let's wait for some more time. Thank you.
Ravikishore garu.
రాలేదనుకుంటా సార్.
జాయిన్ అవుతున్నా అన్నారండి రవికిరణ్ గారు. ఫోన్ చేశారు.
రవికిరణ్ గారు ఫోన్ చేశారండి, వస్తున్నారు, లైన్ లోకి వస్తున్నారండి. రవికిరణ్, అది పాస్వర్డ్ ఏదో మిస్టేక్ వస్తుందంటండి, వస్తున్నారు.
పాస్వర్డ్ క్యాప్ ఐ,
అది ఐసి @i ఒకటి ఉంది కదండి, ఐ మిస్ అయ్యారు ఆయన. స్మాల్ ఐ కూడా ఉంది, అది మిస్ అయ్యారు. అదే చెప్పాను ఇప్పుడు.
Otherwise, whoever have that profile can read, sir. There is nothing wrong. You can ask them to join for that proposal afterwards.
Sir, shall I make it? Sir, ఆయన కనెక్ట్ అయ్యారు సార్, కనెక్ట్ అయ్యారు, వస్తున్నా, మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. నువ్వు స్టార్ట్ చేయి.
Ravikishore garu, I request you to introduce the today's resource person, Kumar garu, please. Audio, unmute chain audio.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, good evening, sir. I am grateful to introduce Thiruvayar Kumar garu. He actually chartered accountant Chakka Thiruvayar Kumar. He is a practicing chartered accountant for the past 24 years at Ongole, Andhra Pradesh, and qualified CA and ICWA in the year 1995. participation and conducting the awareness program of various programs of the Income Tax Department and GST Department, and is CPA seminars and various issues. It is only short profile. Speaker of our today's speaker, Chakka Tiruvayar Kumar sir. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Correct. Okay then.
Tiruvayar Kumar garu.
Avanandi.
Devi Kumar, you can start said. I think introduction is done.
Hello. This is short introduction of our speaker sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Sir, నా మాటలు వినిపిస్తున్నాయా సార్?
వినిపిస్తున్నాయి సార్.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible. Tiruvayar Kumar, you're audible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Prasanna Kumar garu, Gelli garu, Chengal Reddy garu. చాలా సంవత్సరాల తర్వాత చూస్తున్నాను వర్చువల్ గా. అదే and I thank you Brahmananda Rao garu, Ravi Kiran garu, Srikanth garu, and all the chairmen and secretaries and committees of the 3 branches. And this is the first time I am addressing the 3 branches put together. And I am sure that you will appreciate the meeting, today's meeting. Straight away, I will go to the meeting, sir. Today's my topic is the MSMEs. So after the Atmanirbhar package, there is the word MSME is being used by many persons, right from the MLAs, MPs, government, ministers, and everyone is using. So it is not a new thing, sir. MSME is not a new thing, but they are newly started using the word extensively. MSME is nothing but small, sir. Earlier we are calling it as a small. Now they have given a brand name MSME. So why small? Why is preference is small? So in a democracy, a small has to be protected from the big. It is there everywhere. If you take reservations or economical reservation, political reservation, education reservation, everywhere it is there, protecting the small. Even if you take income tax, government is giving many benefits to the small assessees. For example, up to 5 lakhs income, there is no tax. If you take GST, up to 1.5 crore, there is one type of taxation. Above 1.5 crore, one type of taxation. Above 5 crores, another type of taxation. So likewise, government is giving benefits to the small people in various sectors under various acts. So today we are not touching upon the GST and income tax benefits for the small people. Other than income tax and GST, we are going to deal what are the definition of the MSME, what are the benefits to the MSME, and how can we give value-added services to our client, which he will like more than our income tax service.
Sir, Kumar, a small request. If possible, please increase your volume.
Volume, sir?
Yes, sir. Because it is coming at low level. Sorry to disturb.
Volume. Given full volume, sir. Now please check.
Yeah, right now okay. Right now okay.
Now it is okay. Now it is okay, sir.
Right now it is okay.
Okay. Okay. Sir, screen share is visible, sir. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir. Visible, sir.
Visible. Okay, sir. Okay. So today's topic heading I have given as MSME, LARBS and website links. Many have asked what is the definition of LARBC. That is the word coined by me. It's not any definition. LA stands for law and R stands for registration, how to register the MSME, and B stands for benefits. So what are the benefits if you register under MSME as per the acts, and S stands for the schemes. Not only that, today we are going to see the website links. So practical links I am giving to you. If you want tomorrow, you can give advice on these matters to your client. So everything I will give you. I will disclose everything. So and time permits, I will show you one demo also, as depending upon the time, because already it's now 5:45. So depending upon the time, I will show you demo also for registration. Okay. So we will start since independence. Okay. So all industries are treated in similar fashion, same way. There is only one act, and that act deals with all type of industries, whether it is a small industry or whether it is a big industry. Every industry is being regulated. We know very well regulation Raj, license Raj. That is the one license Raj. So if you want to set up, you have to obtain the license. Okay. That was the treatment given to the industries since 1952 to 1984. Okay. The act was 1951 act, passed in 1952, and up to 1984, there is no special treatment for the small one. Everyone comes under same window. So in 1984, first time government, then the central government, thought of carving out the SSI, the whole industry. Okay, so first time in 1984, they have given definition for the SSI, and sorry, this waiting room I am getting, sir, is please remove waiting room for me. So from 1984 up to 2006, that means 22 years, government is treating the small industry as SSI. This word we are very familiar with, SSI, small scale industries. We are very familiar, and this word was coined in 1984, and it was there up to 2006, about 22 years. What happened in 2006? In 2006, there is a lot of change. They
Sir,
have
audio,
renamed the SSI.
the audio is not clear, sir.
My audio, sir?
Yes, your audio is not much clear, sir. Please see.
In 2006, first time they have coined the word MSME. Earlier, everything is called small. Now, small again is divided into three categories, sir. Micro, small, and medium. Sir, now it is clear, sir. Voice?
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay. So,
Not yet.
Not yet, huh?
Yeah.
వాల్యూమ్ వస్తుంది కానీ క్లియర్ లేదు అంటే లో వాయిస్ లో వస్తుంది సార్ ఇంకా హై పిచ్చుకోవాలి
వాల్యూమ్ కూడా లేదు దేవి కుమార్
also PPT is not opened.
PPT is there, madam. PPT is there.
It's not coming.
That he will open.
He has not yet opened.
No, PPT is already open, madam.
No, but it's not visible, sir.
Not sir, visible. It is there, sir. It is a small. It is there, sir. It is there.
So what you are seeing, sir?
Yeah. That in that one letter, sir. That AP Industries 2020-23 V33 invitation logo height logo.
The folder itself we are seeing, Tiruvai.
Oh, folder you are seeing? No, sir.
Yeah.
Already PPT 10 screens, 4 screens are over.
No. We are unable to visible.
Okay,
only folder only.
Okay. I will again share. Now, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. Now we are
Yeah,
able to see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But audio, try to increase audio volume, sir. Kumar garu.
Okay, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
Please.
I will increase. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Please bear.
No problem, sir. కుమార్ గారు మాస్క్ పెట్టుకుంటే ఇంకా మీకు వాల్యూమ్ తగ్గిపోతుందేమో కదా కుమార్ గారు మీరు మాస్క్ పెట్టుకుంటే వాల్యూమ్ ఇంకా తగ్గడం పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంది అంటే వాయిస్ లేయర్స్ కట్ అయిపోతాయి సారీ
సార్ ఒక్కరే ఉన్నారు కాబట్టి మాస్క్ అవసరం లేదు సార్
Sir, after 2 minutes, I will log in with another computer, sir. You will get a clear voice.
Okay, okay.
That's why I'm setting up another computer. Actually, my both sons tested positive, sir, yesterday.
Oh.
So my computer was in their room.
Okay. Better keep distance, sir. Yes.
They are in room, sir, home isolation.
And hope they are healthy, sir.
కుమార్ గారు వాళ్ళిద్దరు ఏం చేస్తున్నారండి కుమార్ గారు పిల్లలిద్దరు
8th to 9th, sir.
8th to 9th నా
మా ఇంట్లో మేము నలుగురు ఉంటాం సార్ మా పెద్దవాళ్ళు ఇద్దరు మాకు మా మిస్సెస్ రాదు నెగిటివ్ వచ్చింది పిల్లలు ఇద్దరికి పాజిటివ్ వచ్చింది 5 నెలల నుంచి వాళ్ళు బయటకే వెళ్ళాల సో నా కంప్యూటర్ వాళ్ళ దగ్గర ఉండిపోయింది ఇదేమో ఓల్డ్ కంప్యూటర్
Please continue, sir. Okay, sir. No voice was not there. Please continue.
No, already opened, sir. I will start take up this new one.
మీరు పీస్ తీసుకుంటే శానిటైజ్ చేసుకోండి సార్ బెటర్ ప్లీజ్
ఆ రూమ్ లోది కాదు సార్ ఇది ఇంకొక పీస్ మా నలుగురికి ఇప్పుడు 4 కంప్యూటర్లు ఉన్నాయి సార్ ఇంట్లో 4 ల్యాప్టాప్లు 6 మొబైల్ ఉన్నాయి సార్ వాటితో మేనేజ్ చేస్తున్నాం ఎవరి ల్యాప్టాప్ వాళ్ళదే sir I will start sir after booting up the new system 1 minute sir already Sir, I will resume here, sir. After 1 minute, I will switch over. సార్ ఇంకొక సిస్టమ్ లాగిన్ అవుతున్నాను, దాని చేర ఒంగోలు బ్రాంచ్ అని వస్తుంది.
దేవి గారు స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ అంటే చేయండి.
స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ లాగిన్ వస్తుంది.
ఏముందండి, పేరు ఏముంటుందండి?
ఒంగోలు బ్రాంచ్ అని ఉంటుంది సార్. బ్రాంచ్ మీటింగ్ నా దగ్గర. కొంచెం వెయిటింగ్ రూమ్ లో ఉన్నాను, అలో చేయండి సార్.
ముందు ఈ షేర్స్ ఈ స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ క్లోజ్ చేయాలి సార్. ఫస్ట్ ఇది క్లోజ్ చేయాలి, ఎందుకంటే ఇది వస్తుంది కదండి, ఈ పవర్ పాయింట్ వస్తుంది కదా, ఇది క్లోజ్ చేస్తేనే అది ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది మనకి.
ఓకే సార్, క్లోజ్ చేశాను సార్.
ఆయన పర్మిషన్ ఆపాలండి, దీనికి చేస్తే అప్పుడు దానికి ఒకేసారి 2 ఇవ్వలేరు అనుకుంటారు.
స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ కాదు, నేను వెయిటింగ్ రూమ్ లో ఉన్నాను సార్, లోపలికి నన్ను అలో చేయండి.
ఓకే. జయరామ్ గారు
సార్,
జయరామ్ గారు ఆయన అలో చేయండి సార్. అది ఆయన వెయిటింగ్ రూమ్ లో ఉన్నారు చూడండి. ఆయన
అంటే ఇప్పుడు హోస్టింగ్ ఆయనకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేశాను సార్ ఆయనకి.
బాబు జయరామ్ ఒకసారి ఆలోచించండి. కుమార్ గారు ఒక సిస్టమ్ క్లోజ్ చేసి ఇంకో సిస్టమ్ లోకి వెళ్తున్నారు.
ఆయన సార్ హోస్టింగ్ వెనక్కి ఇచ్చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది సార్.
అదే ఇచ్చేస్తున్నారండి. మీలో లీవ్ కొట్టండి సార్. ఫస్ట్ మీరున్న దాంట్లో
లీవ్ కొడితే అందరికి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది సార్. నేను ఇప్పుడు హోస్ట్ గా ఉన్నాను, ఉండండి.
హోస్టింగ్
మీరు అట్లా ఉండండి సార్. మీకు ఇస్తాను ఇప్పుడు కాకినాడ బ్రాంచ్ హోస్ట్ చేశాను సార్.
ఓకే.
Now I got sir 15 people waiting sir. Yeah.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు ఆయన వెయిటింగ్ రూమ్ లో ఉన్నారు చూడండి సార్, ఆయన యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయండి. వేరే సిస్టమ్ నుంచి వచ్చారు,
అందరూ వచ్చారు సార్.
చేశారా? ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు ఆయన మళ్ళీ స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ ఇవ్వండి. ఆయనకి స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్ కొత్త దానికి ఇవ్వండి.
హోస్టింగ్ ఒకటే వస్తాను సార్, ఆయనకి ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేయడం అవుతుంది సార్.
నేను ఇక్కడ లాగౌట్ అవుతున్నాను సార్.
లాగౌట్ అయిపోండి సార్ ప్లీజ్.
లాగౌట్ అయిపోండి సార్. సార్ దేవి సార్, ఆయన మళ్ళీ రీలాగ్ కాస్త ఏదైనా ఎంగేజ్ చేయండి సార్ ప్లీజ్.
లాగౌట్ అయిపోతారు అంటే 2 సిస్టమ్లు ఉన్నారు కదా, ఒక సిస్టమ్ లాగౌట్ అయితే కానీ 2వ సిస్టంలో కరెక్ట్ గా రాదు.
అవును సార్, అవును సార్.
అదే ఆయన ముందు బయటకు వచ్చేయాలి సార్. ఆయన లీవ్ అయితే కానీ మనం కొత్తది ఇవ్వడానికి లేదు.
So no one is waiting in the waiting room.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Please bear with us.
అంటే సార్ యాక్చువల్గా ఏంటంటే రిసోర్స్ పర్సన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసే టైంకి మనం హోస్ట్ ఆయన ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ఇస్తున్నాం సార్.
ఓకే.
అంటే
వాయిస్ లో ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే ఆ సిస్టమ్ లో సార్ వాడే మీ సిస్టమ్ స్లోగా ఉంది, వాయిస్ రావట్లేదు.
Sir, 4:45 అంటే everyone has to log in at 5 o'clock, sir.
జయరామ్ గారు ఆయన సరెండర్ చేశారు కదా సార్, ఇప్పుడు ఆయన లేరు, ఉండరు కదా, ఆయన లీవ్ అయిపోయారు. ఆయన లీవ్ అయిపోయారు సార్, మీరు లీవ్ అయిపోయారు, మీరు కొత్తగా ఎవరికైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు కదా.
హోస్టింగ్ ఇంకోటి ఎవరికైనా ఇవ్వచ్చు సార్.
ఆయనకి ఇచ్చేసండి, కొత్త పేరు చెప్పారు కదా.
ఒంగోలు బ్రాంచ్ ఎస్ఐఆర్సీ ఉంది సార్, దానికి ఇవ్వమంటారు. ఒంగోలు బ్రాంచ్ ఎస్ఐఆర్సీ
ఇస్తున్నాను సార్, ఇస్తున్నాను. జస్ట్ yes sir, got it sir.
ఒంగోలు now okay sir, ఒంగోలు బ్రాంచ్ ఎస్ఆర్సీ I say now host now.
Sir, unmute చేయండి సార్. కుమార్ సార్.
కోస్ట్లుగా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు సార్, జూమ్ లో బేసిక్ ప్యాక్ లో కూడా మీరు నలుగురిని కోస్ట్లు పెట్టుకుంటే ఎవరైనా దాన్ని షేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, నలుగురు హోస్ట్. సో ఒకడే హోస్ట్ ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు సార్. మీరు మీటింగ్ హోస్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడే ఒక ఆప్షన్ ఉంటుంది సార్, ఆ ఆప్షన్ లో మీరు కో హోస్ట్ కూడా అలౌ కనుక చేస్తే మీకు కో హోస్ట్ అలౌ అయిపోతుంది సార్. నలుగురిని ఇచ్చేయచ్చు ఒకేసారి.
Yes sir.
అట్లా చేసుకోండి సార్.
Okay sir. Now you are the host sir, please.
ఓపెనింగ్ సార్, 1 minute.
బాగుందండి, ఇప్పుడు ఆడియో కూడా బాగుంది సార్. వెరీ గుడ్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ఓకే,
వెరీ సారీ ఫర్ ది మెంబర్స్ టు ఫర్ inconvenience caused because of technical reasons. Please.
Hello. Hello. ఏది ఏది ఇది అన్నవరం ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళినట్టున్నారేంటి? అది ఎక్కడో ఫోటోస్ పెట్టారు దాన్ని బట్టి అక్కడ వెళ్ళుంటారు అనుకున్నాను. చెప్పి
sir, now you are able to see my PPT sir. Hello. Okay sir.
Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Sorry for the inconvenience sir. So there are about 90 slides sir. This is slide number 4.
సార్ అందరినీ మ్యూట్ చేసి మీరు ఒక్కరే అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి సార్, కొంతమంది మాటలు వస్తున్నాయి. అందరికీ మ్యూట్ చేసేయండి సార్. అందరినీ మ్యూట్ చేసేసి మ్యూట్ ఆల్ పెట్టి మీరు ఒక్కడే అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి.
ఓకే సార్.
అవ్వలేదు సార్, ఇంకా మ్యూట్లో అవ్వలేదు.
అవ్వలేదా?
అవ్వలేదు.
షేర్లో అవ్వ సార్, నేను మళ్ళీ బయటికి రావాలి, చాట్లోకి వచ్చి చేస్తాను. ఇప్పుడు అందరూ మ్యూట్ చేశాను సార్. So from 1984 onwards, government is using the word SSI, small scale industrial unit, which we are very familiar with. Later on in the year 2006, sir, now you are able, sir, to see me and also the PPT. So in 2006, the government has introduced the new word MSM. Earlier, all small industries are categorized as one only. Now they have been subdivided. The small industries have been subdivided into three categories. One is the micro, another one is the small, another one is the medium. This was coined in the year 2006, and the same classification is being continued till now. So as per the Act, MSM is one category, and all other large and big industries are another category. So what is the act which governs the industries in India? That is called Industries Development and Regulation Act 1951. It was passed in 1952 and it's effective from 1952. This is the only act which governs the setting up of the industry and licensing rather. So as I already told, SSI has become now MSM. So in SSI also 3 letters are there. MSM is also 3 letters are there. But it means a small scale industrial unit, only one unit, one type of category, small. In MSM is a small company, there are 3 categories, micro, small, medium. Earlier, we used to call them as units, SSI unit, small scale industrial unit, SSI units. So industrial units, we are call it as industrial unit. So what about services? Only industries are called SSIs. So later on, services are also recognized by the government, and they have changed the nomenclature from industries into enterprises. So enterprises includes both industries, manufacturing industries, and services. So earlier we are having a doubt whether trading is also including here or not, included here or not. So the name itself is an industry, sir. So earlier trading was not at all included. Now it is enterprises, sir. Now services included, still trading not included. So what is the need for MSI categorization? MSME classification, separate classification, because if you read this section in the Industries Development and Regulation Act, every person who wants to manufacture has to obtain a license from the government. How the license will be given? License will be given after the full and complete investigation by the officer. So this we have not seen anywhere. Say if you want to manufacture a toothpaste, if you want to manufacture a biscuit, one officer will come, one government officer will come, and he will investigate all your affairs, and after satisfaction, he will give the license. What for license? License for type of the goods to be produced, and also the production capacity also controlled by the Act. Because of these government controls and license laws, only big people are able to set up the industries in those days. Before 1986, I am talking about. So only big companies are able to set up the industries, and small industries are unable to set up because they are unable to satisfy the government's rules and conditions. So middle income people, lower income people, or people with knowledge but no money are unable to establish the industries. So this was recognized by the government, central government in the 1984, first time government has recognized the difficulties faced by the small industries, small people, and they have introduced a section 11B in the Act. The objective of the 11B is for encouraging and setting up the small units. So first time in 84, government recognized the need for hand-holding of the small industries. So section 11B specifies three points. One is the support to, so they have recognized to support the small units. Two, exemptions. So if you are producing, setting up a small unit, you need not obtain a license. Like that, some exemptions are there, and some favorable treatment is also given. Section 11B enables the central government to do all these things. So government in its amendment told Parliament clearly that what is the necessity of encouraging the small units in India. So it is a debate point also for in our school days. Again, we will refresh our memory. So small industries will break the monopoly of the big industries. It will it causes the equi-distribution of resources, equi-distribution of wealth, and also easing of the unemployment in India, which is a big problem. So because of these four reasons, government thought of encouraging the small units. So from time to time, various support measures were announced by the government, and these measures are announced by a department in the government that is called Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion under Ministry of Finance. There was no separate act for overseeing the MSMEs, and all the benefits were given. All the benefits were given through the Section 11B of the 1951 Act. There was no separate act. The department is the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion under Ministry of Finance, not under the Industry Ministry. It is a Ministry of Finance. So in the year 2006, first time in India, the central government has thought of promulgating a separate act for the support to measurement and exemptions for MSMEs, micro, small, and medium enterprises. On 16 July 2006, for the benefit of the small industries, an act was passed. The act name was the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises Development Act. This is the Development Act. Original one is the Regulation and Development Act. This is not Regulation Act. It is a Development Act. Not only enacting a separate act, government has created a separate ministry also for the MSME units. First time in 2006. That ministry is called Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises. And you can reach their website msme.gov.in. Wherever links are available, I have given in my PPT itself. You can, clicking on this link, you can reach the website. So what is there in the MSME Act 2006? This is the only act which governs the MSME sector in India now, as on date. This is the only act. It's a very small act. So it is an implementation agency. What is the implementation agency for this act? That implementation agency is called Development Commissioner MSME. For every act, there will be an implementation agency. For income tax, there is a CBDT. For GST, there is a CBIC. For MSME Act, there is a Commissioner MSME. What is his website link? dcmsme.gov.in. If you press this link, you will know the full structure of that Development Commissioner MSME sitting at Delhi. And if you want to see the schemes of that Commissioner MSME, this is the link for the viewing the schemes of the MSME. dcmsme.gov.in schemes or sidescheme.htm. This is the website address. If you press on this link, you will directly go to the schemes of the government. So now we will come to the classification. So what is meant by small? What is the definition of the small? How to classify the small industry? How to identify the small industry? So there are some categories, some attributes are there for that, and that was given in under section 7.1, subsection 1 of the section 7 of the MSME Act 2006. So ownership, what is the ownership of the entity? Any type of ownership of the entity can be classified as the MSME. It need not be a proprietorship form. It need not be a partnership form, any type. Even a public limited company also can be categorized as a MSME if it qualifies the statistical criteria, numerical criteria. If you satisfy the numerical criteria, listed public company also can be classified as the HUF also is a society type of organization. Broadly, one is the manufacturing, another one is the service, third one is the trade. MSME Act only manufacturing and service, only manufacturing and service are allowed to be classified as MSME Act. Trading is specifically excluded to be recognized as the MSME Act. That means if there is an electronic showroom, LG electronic showroom, not eligible to be classified as a MSME. Strictly speaking, they are not eligible. A cloth showroom, not eligible. A kirana shop, not eligible. It should be either a manufacturing entity or a service entity, not trading. Trading is not allowed. In the case of manufacture, what are the goods allowed? The goods allowed are specified to the first schedule of the Industrial and Development Regulation Act. But specifically now what they have given is the, instead of specifying the goods which are allowed, now they have given the exclusion list. So it is very easy to see the exclusion list. If manufacturing unit, if they are producing the listed goods, they are not eligible to be registered under the MSME. This is true as on data. Services, any service is allowed. There is no exclusion as far as the services is concerned. But as far as goods are concerned, there is a exclusion. We will see later on those exclusion also. Now, the main criteria is the investment, sir. So, whether to find out a unit is big or small. So, it is generally, it is the investment amount invested. Based upon the amount invested in the unit, we can categorize it as a big or small. So, this also specified in the section 7.1. In the 7.1, they have given the maximum limits, and the freedom was given to the government to notify any limit below the maximum limit given under the section 7.1. So based upon the section 7.1, the power given by the act, the central government, the Ministry of Small Scale Industries notified the limits by GOMS number, Gazette notification number, statutory order 1642, extraordinary dated 29/9/2006. That means immediately after promulgation of the MSME Act, government has given the limits also. 1642 is the notification number, Gazette notification number. And if you want to see the notification, you can, I have given the link also. Directly the notification will be opened from the government website. This notification was superseded by the recently issued notification on 1/6/2020. On June 1 this year, after 14 years, that notification was superseded. Now we will see the new notification also. Old and new, both we will see. So what are the, how we have to find out the limits? So section 7.1 gives the maximum limit, and power was given to the central government, and the central government has notified 1642, SO number 1642 on 29/9/2006. After 4 years, new limits with effect from 1/7/2020 was notified by SO number 1702. These are the two links, sir. First link is the old notification. Second link is the new notification. If you just press this notification icon, you will get the government notification. Sir, I am admitting all. Someone is coming to the waiting room. I am admitting.
Please go ahead, sir.
So what are the maximum limits under the Act? See, there are three categories now. Small again have been divided into three: micro, small, and medium. For manufacturing units, the micro means the investment limit is 25 lakhs, 0.25 crore. That means 25 lakhs. For small, up to 5 crores. Medium, 10 crores in the case of manufacturing. Services, naturally the investment will be less. That's why they have reduced the limit up to 0.1 crore. That means up to 10 lakhs. It is a micro servicing unit. Up to 2 crores, small servicing unit. Up to 5 crores, small servicing unit. So these are the maximum limits. But government adopted the same limit in their notification on 29/9/2006. Same limits: 0.25, 0.25, 0.1, 0.1, 5.2, 5.2, 10, 5. That means if your investment is more than 10 crores, you are not at all a small unit. In the case of services, if your investment is more than 5 crores, it is not a small unit. It should be below the limit. So there are two subcategories. One is manufacturing unit separate limits, investment limits. For services, separate limit. It is natural. However, there is a big change from 1/7/2020. That means 2 months back, 1 month back. There is a big change. What they have changed? We will see what is changed. Government has issued again a notification N2119 extraordinary dated June 26th, 2020. If you want this notification, you can click on this link. I have given the link. This notification supersedes the notification number 1702E. Okay. Actually, this is a master notification. It contains everything notified by the government so far. It is like a RBI master circular. We used to have RBI master circular and NPA and everything like that for government. For this MSMEs, government has given a master circular for this master notification for MSMEs, and this you can access this link by access this notification by clicking on this link. It contains four categories, 4 important things. It contains the new classification criteria. We have seen the turnover investment criteria. Now we will see the new criteria, new classification criteria, how to register the MSMEs. After registration, how to update the registration, and if you are having any grievances, how to lodge the grievance and how to address those grievances. All these 4 access ujjamregistration.gov.in website. Clicking on this link, you can access all these 4, or ujjogadhar.gov.in. We are familiar with Ujjog Aadhar, sir. Now they have changed the name into Ujjam registration. Ujjam. Aadhar means there is a separate Aadhar Act is there. Maybe I think copyright problem government also. So they have changed to avoid conflict or something. They have used the word Ujjam registration. Now we will see what is the difference. No separate limit for manufacturing and services. Till now we have seen 2 separate limits, investment limits, manufacturing 1 limit, services another. Now there is no limit. There is no separate classification for goods and services. Both are same. So with the GST concept, they have removed the goods or service like that. Here also they have removed the for goods and services separate investment limits for both now same. So they have removed one. They have added another one. Removed one, added another one. Another new one is the turnover criteria. Now with the technology and everything, even if your investment is limited, your turnover will be bigger one. So that's why government has thought adding the new criteria, that is the turnover criteria. Now the gadget notification you can access by clicking on this link, the new notification limits. I given here in table briefly. So the present notified limits with effect from July 1, 2020. With effect from July 1, 2020. GST introduction it is also same. July 1, 2020. For micro, investment limit is 1 crore. Earlier it is 10 lakhs, sir. Now it has increased to 1 crore. Small, 10 crore. Medium, 50 crore. Earlier, 10 lakhs only. If 10 lakhs crosses, it is not an MSME earlier. Now the limit was increased to 50 crore. In the case of turnover, sir, earlier there is no turnover limit. Now they introduced the turnover limit also. For micro, 5 crore. Small, up to 50 crore. Medium, 250 crore turnover. See, 5 times more. Investment is 1 crore. Turnover limit is 5 crore. Small investment limit is 5 crore, 10 crore, turnover limit is 50 crore. Medium investment limit is 50 crore, turnover is 250 crore. Just like bank CC loan, if you want a loan, you need to have 5 times turnover. Like this, if you have an investment of 50 lakhs, your turnover should be not more than 250 lakhs. Both are cumulative conditions. Even if you meet one, even if you crosses the one limit, you will not be categorized as a MSME. Okay. So both are cumulative. So with this increase, what happened? Some newspapers reported all industries have become as MSME. So some criticism. Even if you are having 250 crores turnover, how a small person will compete? 2 crores turnover person will compete with 250 crores person turnover. All have been put in under one basket, MSME basket. So everyone has become an MSME now. 250 crore turnover is not a small thing, sir. So one paper reported that in India, 90% industries now have become the MSME, and now this MSME space is overcrowded because everyone is become as an MSME. See, here we have given the investment. What is meant by investment? What is meant by investment? Which investment we have to take into account? Whether we have to take into account land, buildings, plant and machinery, vehicle, computers, office equipment, like that, are there any exclusions? No, we will see that. Here investment means investment in plant and machinery only. Okay, not defined under MSME Act and also under IDER. See, what is meant by plant and machinery? Okay, investment in plant and machinery. Again, we will get a doubt. What is meant by plant and machinery? Okay, there is no definition. Okay, there is no definition. We want to see a definition, but you will not find any definition for plant and machinery under the MSME Act or under the original INDR Act. But in the recent notification, they have given some illustrations. What are the plant and machinery? So what they have given is the plant and machinery means as defined in the income tax rules. So they have adopted the Income Tax Act here. So what is meant by plant and machinery in the Income Tax Act? Same meaning here. Again, they have told that includes all tangible assets. Whether Income Tax Act says tangible assets as plant and machinery, we don't bother. Here for MSME, all tangible assets are plant and machinery. What are the exclusions? Exclusions. The new notification gives the exclusions. 2119 is the new notification. Land and buildings are not considered as plant and machinery. In any case, land and buildings are not considered as plant and machinery. Furniture and fixtures are not considered as plant and machinery. The Act itself excludes something from the plant and machinery. What Act excludes is the pollution control equipment does not fall under the plant and machinery definition. Research and development equipment does not fall under the plant and machinery equipment. Industrial safety devices does not fall under the plant and machinery equipment. We have to exclude these 5 items. From the plant and machinery heading, we have to exclude these 5 items. Vehicles also will not come. So how to calculate the value of the plant and machinery? Now we have know what are the things to be added in the plant and machinery. Now the question is how to calculate how to measure the investment, whether it is an every year exercise or one-time exercise. You may be remembering earlier it is only one-time exercise. We have to take into account the original cost of the plant and machinery at the time of setting up of the factory, at the time of setting up of the unit. Even if you have set up the unit in 2000, that value is being taken as the investment in the plant and machinery. There are so many things are there earlier. I have been superseded by the new notification, sir. So I have strike out all these things. So many things are there which are to be included, which are to be excluded like that. Now everything has gone. So now it is very simple, sir. What is there in your plant and machinery under the Income Tax Act? From that, you remove the pollution equipment, you remove the safety devices, you will get the value of the plant and machinery. Okay. So how to get this investment amount? So now it is automatic. Like GST returns, we are familiar, auto drafted. From one return, the data will be flown to the another return. So that means second return will get the data from the first return. Likewise here in GST, in MSME, the investment value of the plant and machinery will be auto drafted from the ITR filed by the unit. So you need not enter the amount at all. If you enter the PAN card number, this MSME website, go to the income tax website and fetch the amount of the plant and machinery given by you in the ITR form, and it will bring into and it will show you whether this amount is correct or not. And from that amount, we have to reduce the safety devices and pollution, because in income tax, pollution devices equipment also we will show in the plant and machinery. So here we have to reduce that. One option will be there from the total amount of the plant and machinery. We have to reduce the pollution and other excluding amounts, and we will get the net investment value as per the MSME Act. That will be taken for the classification, whether it is a micro or small or medium unit. In the case of ITR not filed cases, sir, mine is a new unit, sir. Today only I have set up. Then how will I get the investment value? I have not the filed income tax return yet. Only on 1/4/2020 I have set up my unit. So how will you get the value? It is a self-declaration basis. In the case of new units, we have not paid the income, we have not filed the income tax returns. It is a self-declaration basis. At the time of self-declaration, GST paid on plant and machinery should be excluded. So you should not include the GST paid on plant and machinery. So in the case of new units which have not yet filed the income tax returns, they can also register. Auto draft facility is not available. They have to enter manual. One investment is over. Now we will see what is the turnover.
So only self-declaration or CS certification?
Sir, no certification is required, sir. No certification. You need not go to anyone. No documents need not be attached. Anything. No documentary evidence, sir. Only PAN card number, GST number, Aadhaar number. Only 3 numbers are required. Even the photostat copies of those documents is also not required. You need not upload any image or any document. Everything is online, sir. So turnover is also not defined, sir. Then how to get the turnover? So that's why they have made it simple. Turnover will be auto drafted from the GST portal. So in the case of investment, investment will be there in the balance sheet. So balance sheet is filing with the income tax department. So MSME people, they are collecting the data from the income tax department as far as the investment in plant and machinery is concerned. As far as GST turnover is concerned, they are auto drafting that turnover from the GST portal. But what are the cases if they are not registered under GST? For example, there are many units which are not required to be registered under GST. For example, rice mill. For example, milk chilling center. aqua feed. Like that, many units are there which are not required to be registered under the GST Act at all. So they don't have GST number also. In those cases, though notification says that turnover will be auto-drafted compulsory from the GST portal, I have checked yesterday as for one of my client, as on 17/8/2020, day before yesterday, they are taking the turnover. If you are not registered under GST, they are taking the turnover from the IT portal. That was not given in the notification, sir, but practically what they are doing, I am disclosing here. So if your unit is not registered under GST, your turnover also will be auto-drafted from your income tax returns. Export of turnover of goods and services will not be considered in the turnover limit. That means for calculating the 10, 50 and 250 crores turnover, our units export turnover should be excluded. That means within India, domestic turnover is only considered for the purpose of the classification. So export of goods and services also, both are excluded. Maybe Infosys also may become an MSME because their turnover is more in exports. So in the case of no pawn cases, what they have to do? No pawn cases. It is a self-declaration, sir. Even if there is no pawn, you can register. It is a self-declaration basis. They have given an option to register up to 31st March of the next year. So after 31st March, PAN and GST shall be mandatory. What they have given in the web portal is that after 31st March, PAN and GST are mandatory to be registered as a MSME and to get the benefits. Is it right? Is PAN number compulsory to do the business? A small unit wants to set up a business. His turnover is only 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 50 lakhs. Even 50 lakhs into 8%, he need not file income tax returns. 50 lakhs is exempted goods. So he need not have GST number. He need not have PAN number. Even then, he has to get PAN and GST to be registered as an MSME with effect from 1/4/2021. That was the statement given in the MSME website. They may relax these conditions in future. Now we are coming to the important one. Whether every unit has to be registered as an MSME, is there any obligation? Income tax, you have to register and you have to file the returns. Okay, income tax. GST, if your turnover crosses this much, you have to compulsorily register under the GST Act. If you are going to export goods, you have to compulsorily apply in the IE code. Like that, is there any compulsory? Whether everyone having that criteria has to be registered MSME? No. It is an optional for the units. If you want, you can register and avail the benefits. If you don't want, you need not register and you are not eligible for the benefits. Okay. So what the website says that it is a need-based and can be registered at any point of time. So if today you are setting up the unit, you need not register today. Even after 2 years, you can register. If there is a need arises, you can register after 2 years. That means, can I register a 2010 enterprises now? Yes, you can register a 2010 setup unit now as an MSME. There is no time limit for registration. Whatever you want, you can register what is the website? ujjamregistration.gov.in. If you click this link, you will get there, ujjamregistration.gov.in. Sir, already registered, sir. Before Ujjam registration, I have registered in Udyog Aadhar, sir. Yes, even if you registered on Udyog Aadhar, now you have to re-register yourself in this web portal. Even if you register under Udyog Aadhar, after 2006, Udyog Aadhar is there, sir. So many lakhs and crores of people have registered under Udyog Aadhar. They have got the UAM, Udyog Aadhar memorandum number. All those people again have to come here in Ujjam registration portal and they have to re-register in the new website. One part.
It is compulsory.
Sir,
so it is something you were applied. Whomsoever applied earlier under Udyog Aadhar are required to register again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Earlier, there is no linkage of PAN, sir. Now they have linked PAN. If you are having 4 units in 4 states, 4 manufacturing units in 4 states, only one registration is given now. Okay, one PAN, one Udyam registration. You can add any number of branches. You can add any number of units, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, manufacturing, services, different types of manufacturing, everything you can add, but only one Udyam registration, one PAN. Any number of activities can be. This Udyam registration number is called URN, Unique Registration Number. It will be automatically issued, sir. On the spot, you will get the URN number. Once you fill up the data, you need not upload any documents, sir, any GPAG, any PDF, not required. Only you should have PAN number, GST number, Aadhaar number. That's all, sir. You can register any unit on the spot. On the spot, you will get the URN number. The beauty is here, you will get the URN number, but you will not get the registration certificate. Only number will be allotted to you, like a token number. It will be allotted. Why it is taking time? It may take 1 day. It may take 3 days for registration certificate. It may take 1 month. In my case, it took 1.5 months. Okay. So why it is taking so much time means after submitting our details, this MSME website has to get auto drafted all the details from the income tax website and the GST website. In the month of July, last week only, MSME department and income tax department have and to exchange the data. You might be aware all those things in the news. Now the MSME website is able to get the data from the income tax department, and now they are giving the certificate after 3 to 4 days. Earlier it took 1.5 months for me to get a certificate. Now certificate is not generated. Now within 1 week they are getting the data from the income tax department.
Sir, recently, excuse me. Sir, recently after COVID, to avail these exemptions, banks have encouraged many traders to get Udyogadhar by mentioning some service. They have got Udyogadhar and they are availing benefits. What is the position of them now?
Sir, in the case of trading, sir,
many traders get themselves registered as MSME because their directions from RBI, it seems they ask them to include traders also. So they have asked traders also to register as MSME by Udyogadhar, and many of them have did, to my knowledge, and to avail MSME exemption.
Okay, madam. Can I answer now?
Yeah.
So,
yes, sir.
RBI and other government persons and ministers and anywhere, they talk about MSME. That does not mean that MSME as per the Act. They refer to small units as the MSME. Okay, they don't mind this exclusion of trading units as per the Act. So they want to give benefit for all. Even trading units also suffered, not only MSMEs. In the mindset of the ministries, MSME means everything is an MSME, including trading. Okay. For specific purposes, they require registration certificate. Then trading is not allowed. Okay. In the case of Atmanirbhar scheme, they specifically told that even for trading units also, that scheme is available. ECLGS scheme is available. 3 lakh crore scheme is available. 20% of the limits, even for the trading units also. By misunderstanding, banks are insisting for MSME certificate from trading units also. It is wrong. Yes. If the unit is a manufacturing, if the unit is a service, they have to get the MSME certificate compulsorily. If the unit, that borrower is a trading unit, they have to get a declaration. I am not an MSME as per the Act. Mine is a trading unit, not eligible for the MSME. But I am eligible for the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan package. Okay. That's like that, the bank should have taken the certificate, but they are insisting for the MSME. So even electronic showroom person is getting MSME certificate as a service provider. For example, they do some service now, even though it is a showroom, they do some 1%, 2% income will be service. So they are mentioning other services and they are getting the certificate, and bankers are not at all seeing what is the activity in the certificate. Whether you have got the certificate or not, yes, certificate is there, MSME. What is the name? Name is similar. Okay, loan grant.
Yes, even
That is the misunderstanding, madam. So later on, these people will get a problem. Where they will get a problem is in the case of an MSME, your stamp registration, stamp duty for registering the loan agreement is 1,000 rupees in AP.
Yes.
In the case of non-MSME, general stamp duty you have to pay. Okay. In the case of MSME, 1,000 rupees maximum. What they are doing is even non-eligible MSMEs, they are getting registered as MSME and they are availing this concessional stamp duty of 1,000 rupees. In many cases, RBI and inspection and concurrent audit cases, they are finding out this lacuna and they are recovering the balance amount and also the interest, because in the case of MSMEs, interest benefit is there 1%. Showing this certificate, false certificate, they are getting that 1% interest subsidy also. And after checking and verification, some banks are recovering 4 years, 5 years, interest, penalty, everything they are recovering, and the stamp, deficit stamp duty, everything they are recovering from the, and some loans accounts also have become NPA because of this recoveries.
Sir, can I add one more point, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, recently some banks are asking, even from trust and that is educational institutions and societies also, they are asking for MSME, sir. I don't know really where our banks are going really.
Sir.
But they will come under service.
No. Charitable trust, how they will come under service, madam?
They are doing the service activity. They are
doing the service activity.
They are doing
But charitable.
Charitable trust.
Or a society, if they are engaged in service activity, they may come under MSME.
Madam, feeding the poor, sending the clothes to cyclone, all these things comes under.
No, not that. He is speaking
That's
about
what I'm telling. Charitable trust, which is purely engaged in development of the society in some way.
Oh.
They are not doing any activity except collection of donations and spending it.
No, that may not come.
Will not come, madam. In my opinion, those things too will not come.
You have said about educational society that may come.
Yeah. Educational institutions, okay, they are giving easy it comes under service.
Yeah. Educational institutions comes under service.
Oh, that I am doubt. Okay. I have not thought of it. Okay, we'll if that is correct, we will take that also into consideration, sir. I thought education institutions are separately and it is out of the ambit of service.
Yeah. I have one more doubt, sir. Hello?
That too, it is not a business, first of all. Business and commercial activity is not there. Then I feel that trust and society should be exempted from the MSME. There is no commercial activity in this.
Even though it is a service activity.
Service should be commercial, no? Yeah, to get MSME.
Service not necessarily be commercial. It may be anything else.
Okay,
So
then okay.
That profits are utilized for the benefit of the society only. That is the social.
Yes.
That is the social activity. That is the service means all the receipts, all the profits are utilized only for the benefit of the society. The profits are not distributed. Their profits are not. That's then.
You feel that educational institution comes under service activity.
My feeling, your feeling is not considered, sir. The act feeling is.
No, that's what. Yeah, as per act, it comes under service.
So in the act, I don't think there is something like commercial or non-commercial.
Okay.
Madam, I see when you are talking about micro, small, medium enterprises means it comes under commercial activity only. Yeah, I feel that is my feeling. Enterprise means it is a commercial. It cannot be treated as a charity or any which is comes under non-profit making organizations. It is only my personal opinion, madam. Please go. And we can discuss about this point after our this presentation is over.
Yes, but the learned speaker, sir, he might have gone through the act thoroughly. What is his opinion about enterprise?
Yeah, that's why we are leaving to our expert opinion to the presenter, and we will discuss only after the presentation is over, madam.
Cross discussion should be avoided, I think.
No, okay, that's the reason I am stopping it.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for interference.
Speaker, I have a doubt, sir. Speaker. Hello, Kumar garu.
Sir.
Suppose one proprietor is having a MSME. One proprietor is having a MSME registration, sir. For his business loan body like that, he is given as MSME certificate and get the whatever he told that stamp duty exemption like that.
Okay.
Suppose he has taken some personal loan or housing loan like that, then also he can utilize the same stamp exemption like that?
No, sir. No.
Suppose he take the personal loan, he is entered in the books of accounts.
No.
The presentation complete చేసింది. After that we can ask the police.
అంటే ఇందాక టాపిక్ అది వచ్చింది, అది దానికి వచ్చింది.
Speaker, sir, excuse me. Can I intervene? Sir, some of the universities, they are rendering services like groundwater testing, or they are using their expertise in serving the society, and they are charging fees also, and they are conducting some training programs also to the industries and the corporates. So they are getting service receipts, and they are also getting registered under GST, and they are paying GST also on that. So are they required to get registered as MSME also?
By having any benefits, they can register, sir.
Okay.
Told earlier, it is not compulsory. Go and register. Otherwise, there is nothing wrong.
The issue here is the universities gross receipts will run into crores. Out of that, the income from tuition is of course totally exempted, but the service income will be less. Then how to this thing, the turnover limit, how to consider? 250 crores.
Whether in the turnover, only export turnover is excluded, sir. Whether it is GST leviable, not GST leviable, everything is included, sir. Only export turnover is excluded.
So then we have to consider income from the tuition fees, examination fees, as well as this.
University receipts may cross 250 crores, sir. So may not possible.
In such a case, they are not eligible to get benefits here, because then obviously it will be more than 250 crores in any university, because considering the size. Any university normally it is not 250 crores. Incidentally, they have some minor income up to 10% or like that. This type of activities, which is covered under GST, and they are also paying GST on that. Research activities and collateral services like groundwater testing, training, corporate training, such things. Okay.
Even the total turnover is taken for MSME total turnover.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Registration website. So government wants to grow the small one, micro to small to medium. So become the champion. The website name is the champion. So they want all micro hands to, our small hands to make you large. So they will make you large, and they will bring you out of MSME basket, and they will keep you under large and mega units. So that is the objective of the government. So there are two windows, sir, here, two screens. One is for new entrepreneurs, sir, who are not registered yet as MSME. Here you have to click. And for those already having registration under Udyog Aadhar or before Udyog under UAM, then here. Depending upon the time, I will show you the website demo also. Live. So what are the requirements for Udyam registration? Simple, sir. Even you can open, you can register Udyam registration within 5 minutes, sir. Within 5 minutes. So what are the documents required? KYC documents. Aadhaar, sir. Aadhaar of proprietor. In the case of partnership firm, partner. In the case of a company, one director. In the case of HUF, one karta. In the case of society, chairman or the secretary, like that. PAN and farm number of ITR files, sir. Not only PAN, sir. Here they are asking for the ITR number. Whether it is 3 or 4, 5, like that, we have to give the PAN and the number of the ITR file also have to give, sir. In the case of GST registered, GST registration number has to be given, bank account number has to be given, IFSC code has to be given, phone number and email ID of the enterprise has to be given, and you can enter all addresses of the all units here. Not only addresses, sir. Each unit, if they are manufacturing separate products, separate services, you can also mention what are the products and services being rendered by those units. Any number of units you can add here, sir. Later on also you can add. Not now, you can also add after first time registration also.
ITR number, if it is not available, then what is, if it is first time on means ITR cannot specify immediately.
Yes, sir. Self-declaration, sir. Self-declaration.
Okay, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir.
Hello.
Sir.
Yeah. While filling the GST details, it is saying the unit details will be automatically picked if GST number is given, but it is not picking from GST.
No, sir. It will pick after some time, sir. You have to first give the details, everything. You have to submit the form, then you will get a number. After that, they will go to the GST website and income tax website. Within 3 to 4 days, they will come back to you. This is the turnover as per the GST. This is the investment as per the Income Tax Act. If you want to reduce something, you reduce, and you will have to, before, based upon the final figure, they will issue whether it is a small, whether it is a medium, whether it is a micro. That also they will categorize. One certificate, but in that certificate, 3 categories are there. Micro, small, medium. If 1 year you may be a micro unit, in another year you may become a small. Or if God thinks otherwise, a small becomes micro, or a small becomes macro. Like that, every year it will change. Okay, it will auto drafted. So one important thing.
Automatic classification, right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Automatic classification based on every year turnover reported in your GST and income tax returns. Investment limit or income tax return, turnover as per the GST. If you are not registered under GST, turnover is also as per Income Tax Act, and every year it will change, sir. Okay. Earlier it is static, sir. If you register under Udyog Aadhaar, it is a static. Even before that also it is static. Once you register, that's all. There is no updation activity. Now there is an updation. It is an yearly updation. You have to update every year. Otherwise, your Udyog Aadhaar will become invalid. One more thing we should know is here is the National Industrial Classification Code. We are very familiar with the HSN code for GST purposes, SCSC code for services in the case of GST. Likewise, they have separate code, National Industrial Classification Code of all economic activities, which one 2008 is the last one. As per that report, we have to pick up the code of our manufacturing or code for the services. If you want to see the list, you can press here this link. You will reach the PDF version of the 2008 NIC codes list. Like HSN, there are chapters are there, headings are there, divisions are there, 2-digit, 4-digit, 6-digit codes are there that you can give in detail.
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, economic activities for trust activities, whether it comes under economic activities?
Yes, sir. All those activities are there, sir. I will show you exclusion also, sir.
Yes, sir.
In the case of re-registration, already you are registered. You have to register now under the Udyam registration. Then you have to compulsorily enter the old Udyoga Aadhaar number. Without entering the old Udyoga Aadhaar number, you cannot register under the new Udyam registration. Sir, I have forgotten the number, sir. Certificate was misplaced, sir. 4 or 5 years back, bankers I have asked, I have registered under the Udyoga Aadhaar. On that spot, I have given the bankers, they have reduced some interest rate. That's all, sir. I don't have now. What to do? You cannot do anything. The site asks Udyog registration number of all if you already registered. One person asked a question, sir, can I register as a new one? Yes, it is allowing as on date. It is allowing again. You can re-register. You can register as a new one, even though you are having a old Udyog Aadhaar. You can register as a new entity again. Now they are issuing that one. Okay. So what are the activities not allowed for Udyam registration? Sir, please you can check here. What are the activities are not allowed for Udyam registration? This notification was issued on 27/6/2017, sir. As on date, so many things have changed, but they have not changed this notification. As on date, still this notification is valid, sir. What are the things not allowed? Forestry and logging business. Forestry and logging business not allowed to be registered. Fishing and aquaculture. So many are being excluded here. If you are doing a fishing and aquaculture hatcheries and all those things, you are not allowed. Third one, wholesale and retail trade is not also allowed as MSME, whether it is a wholesale trade or whether it is a retail trade. Unit is not eligible to be registered under MSME. Domestic help such as cook, etc. Washermen, cook, cleaning persons, like all these persons are also not eligible to be registered as MSME. See, if you see the turnover limit or investment, those are the maximum limits, sir. There is no minimum limit. Without the zero investment, you can register as a MSME. Without the zero turnover, also you can register as a MSME. So if a domestic worker wants to register as an MSME, not allowed. But a domestic cook wants to allow as a MSME, is not allowed. I am also doing service, so I want to register as an MSME unit myself. I am a cook in a house, means you are not allowed. Another thing which was excluded is the household production for own use. If you are producing anything for your own consumption, then also that entity, though it is a manufacturing entity, it is not allowed to be registered under this Udyam registration. I have given some example, cloth. So if you use yourself for your own use, not allowed. Farming, agriculture, if you produce rice, paddy for your own consumption, you are not eligible. And activities of extraterritorial bodies such as United Nations, IMF, and they are also not allowed to be registered as MSMEs here. Certain activities of crop, animal production in Division 1 of NIC code is also not allowed, sir. That detailed list, if you want to see the NIC codes which are not allowed, you can click here, sir. There is a detailed list which are not allowed. Okay, this is the link I have given already here. If time permits, I will show you the exact notification also. So next question, sir also told me in the beginning, whether a CA can register as MSME. So many are asking this question. So there is no bar, sir. There is no bar. You can register your chartered accountant firm, whether it is a proprietorship firm, whether it is a partnership firm, or whether it is an LLP. You can register as an MSME in the portal, and you can avail all the benefits of what other people are getting. What is the code? This code, section M, sir. Section M refers to the professional, scientific, and technical activities. In section M, division 69, sir, legal and accounting activities. In division 69, group 2, accounting, bookkeeping, and auditing activities, tax consultancy. This is the group heading. In that group heading, exact code, 6-digit code is the 692-201. 692-201.
NIC code?
Accounting.
NIC code? Is it NIC code, sir?
Yes, sir. NIC code, sir. NIC code. I have given already here. NIC code.